We've all heard the expression, don't judge a book by its cover, right? Well, it's just, don't judge someone based solely on their appearance. And while that's a sweet sentiment, let's be real for a second. Looks don't just matter in grade school. They impact us even as adults. The reason I bring this up is to address a misunderstanding from my previous video about my old college roommate who was a real piece of work. Some of you understandably thought, there's no way this girl could have graduated college years ago. Well, hate to break it to you, but you're wrong. For those of you who don't know, hi, I'm Cooks. And no, I am not a kid drawing this webcomic. I'm actually an adult in my 20s. Yep, don't let the voice fool you. I'm a college graduate with a degree and a job. I know, you want an explanation, and trust me, we'll get there. Including a time a job interview got really awkward just because it was over the phone. But before we get into it, let's do a quick, hey, what you drawing part of the video. The art you're watching me draw in the background is an artwork piece I thought of when I was on vacation. And that idea was to put some of my OCs from my webcomic into cosplay. We've already done Josh and Megan cosplaying from the musical Beetlejuice, and this one is of Cole and Howie from cosplaying as Dipper and Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls. If you're anything like me, you love that TV show. It was so good. If you hadn't read my webcomic yet, Outcasts follows the stories of the Myers children. 4 kids who have been hiding for years, all because they have magical powers, and their beloved ruler, Queen Vanessa, seems to want to erase magic, and all who possess it. If that sparked your interest and you want to learn more about the characters, you can check out my webcomic, Outcasts, on Tapas for free, and come join my Patreon for exclusive content. Joining my Patreon gets you exclusive content, early access to Outcast comic pages, YouTube videos before they're released, and lots of other cool stuff. Links to both are in the description. And with that out of the way, let's get into my funny stories about how I keep getting mistaken for a kid. A lot. Before we get into it, let's back up a bit and give you a little explanation. First off, not only do I sound really young in my voiceovers, but I also look super young. I've been cursed with never, ever hitting that growth spurt that I always yearned for in high school. What can I say? After you hit 18, you just kind of stop hoping. So yeah, I got my short jeans from my mom. I'm actually about 5 inches shorter than her in comparison, so I'm just barely pushing past 5 feet tall. Another part of me is what makes me really seem really young is my innocence, as some would call it, but I would call my neurodivergence. I've never been good at understanding social cues, even as an adult, but we'll unpack that in a future video. A lot of times people tell me that looking young now will help you later in life, and while I don't entirely agree with that comment, I do agree that it makes funny stories to tell. Something you might not have known about me is that I used to be on the drill team in middle school and high school. 5 years actually. And to be completely honest, those were 5 of the best years of my life. Even if the last year was during COVID. So, as part of the drill team, we attended every football game. Rain or snow, night or shine, you have a football game against our school? Then heck yeah, we're gonna be there. At the end of each game, if we won, we had to get in a kick line and kick how many points our football team scored. There were honestly some times that I was so freaking tired, I was silently hoping we would lose just so we didn't have to kick. Because I had already gone to school that day, I had already done everything, and then I had to come at 7 o'clock at night and do this. I was just so tired. We once had to kick like 40 times. My gosh, my legs felt like jelly. So, if you know how a kick line works, you know that the taller people are towards the middle, while the shorter people are at the ends, so that the weight of all people are equally distributed. Physics, who knew? Anyways, this just means that yours truly was always at the end, bearing all the weight on the right side of the kick line. Fun. Also, side story, we always filmed our dance and drill team routines from the field, so that we could watch it and take notes on what we did well and what needed improvement. And 8 times out of 10, I'd be watching, thinking I threw my flag so freaking high in the air.
And then I saw the video and realized, oh crap, I only threw the flag up a foot in the air and wanted a face palm. Looking back now, I'm just grateful that I never let the flag slam on my head, because that could not be said for all of the girls in my drill team. Moving on. So, I went to college for my bachelor's degree in education. In short, I wanted to be a teacher. For those of you who don't know, when you're in an education major, or at least at my university, there's this thing called field-based. So basically what happened is that my university found a school close to the university, and then you had to be a student teacher for a semester with a cooperating teacher, or the teacher who worked there at that school. I did this for 2 years, and I honestly loved it. It was so much fun working with the students, and I learned a ton about teaching that I continue to implement as a certified teacher. Now for the funny stories. For 2 semesters, I was set to student teach in kindergarten. Now, one thing you need to know about kindergartners is that, well, they are 5 years old, and they have little to no filter between their brain and their mouth. Case in point, one time I mentioned my mom during one of my reading lessons, and this kindergartner was like, "Whoa, your mom is 100 years old?" And I never wanted to facepalm more than I did right at that moment. Instead, I composed myself and I just said, "No, sweetie, she's not 100. Like I said, no filter. And that's coming from someone who has a very bad filter at times. Another time, I was headed up the stairs and this teacher greeted me with an, "Oh, hi, sweetie." I was so embarrassed and meekly let her know, "Hey, you know, I'm a student teacher here," before awkwardly walking away. I was so embarrassed, but I also kind of was used to it at this point. To be completely transparent though, it was nice being a student teacher. Sometimes younger teachers tend to get a lot of backlash from more seasoned teachers who have been in the field for several years. But the cool thing was that I was and still am able to bring new ideas and creativity to the table as well. Whether that be interactive projects, games, or digital tools that more seasoned teachers might not know about. It was really fun and cool to see how elementary school has changed from when I was a kid. I feel so old when I say that. And now, let's get to the story you've all been waiting for. My most awkward and most memorable job interview.
So the summer before my senior year of college, I wanted to get a summer job so I could save up some money because I'd be a college graduate soon. At first, I wanted to apply for a childcare position in my town, and the moment I walked in, I realized, this is super sketchy. I really don't want to work here. Honestly, the interview went fine, but they said they wouldn't let me know for another 2 weeks whether I was hired or not. So honestly, it all worked out. The next job was the interview over the phone and the summer job that I really wanted to apply for. It was a Christian camp counselor job. I was so excited because I loved summer camp as a kid, and I wanted to make sure these kids had a fun experience like I did. So I filled out the application online, emailed my resume to the head of the summer camp, and soon after, she called me. I explained all the necessary things that you usually go through on a job interview. Your name, experience from previous jobs, contact information, yada yada yada. And then came the dreaded question. How old are you? I honestly had been dreading that question, hadn't been dreading it that much actually, until I realized that I was interviewing over the phone, and I probably sounded like I belonged in freaking middle school. So I answered honestly, "Oh, I'm in my 20s. Remember, this was a couple years ago." Guys, you should have heard the surprise and relief in her voice when she said, "Oh." One of the best jobs I ever had, honestly. 10 out of 10. It was amazing and so much fun. I just had to get over that threshold of them thinking I was lying about my age over the phone.
And that's a wrap for this video. A special thank you to my Patreon members. You guys are the best. Thank you for supporting me in the making of my webcomic Outcasts and my artistic journey. Just a heads up, the next video is going to be a Q&A. That means it's going to be centered around any questions you guys have for me. Whether it be about my webcomic, me as a person, or how I got to where I am now. I'm down for all of it. Quick disclaimer though, Please keep your questions PG. I won't be answering any questions that are inappropriate or that make me uncomfortable. Mainly because I try to keep my content here usually PG. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can within reason. So, what are you waiting for? Drop your questions as a comment below and I will answer them in my next video. Also, just a reminder, if you want to see more art like this, or want to learn more about my webcomic Outcasts, you can check it out for free on Tapas, and come join my Patreon for exclusive content. Keep creating, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!